From each and every screen to all airways. Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of the People's Princess Podcast, the place that provides intimate and intentional conversations, surely to make you feel like royalty. I am your host, Amaya Kai, and I am welcoming you all back into the palace. Today, guys, I'm very excited because not only is this the first guest interview, when I tell you guys his story is very much something that we have to be able to pay attention to, but most importantly, just lift up because we never know what anybody is going through, whether if they are on a high or low platform. And he is not only an example of that, but he is an example of what it means to be a light in a community that tends to not have its light on. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I give you all hailing from the beautiful Southern University and A&M College, Marquan, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. First of all, I just want to give you a huge thank you for coming on. I'm very grateful that you say yes. And most importantly, I'm grateful that you chose my platform to share your story on. I'm very excited to not only learn more about you, but learn about your decision in terms of shedding a light on what has happened to you. Again, I want to apologize because nobody should be able to experience what you experience, especially in something that you love to do. So, before we get started with the interview, go ahead and introduce yourself to anybody who might not know you or is getting reintroduced to who you are.
Hey, y'all. I'm Marquan Colbert. Everybody knows me as Quan. I currently attend Southern University, where I am uh, majoring in. Sorry, let me start that. I am a
You're
bachelor's.
good.
I graduate this year.
First of all, congratulations on almost ending your collegiate career. And my first big question is, how are you doing? Because I know that this is a very big time for you, along with you about to graduate, as you said previously, and most importantly, with your decision. How do you feel mentally, spiritually, also physically? Tell me about that.
I feel fine. I feel good because I'm rooted in God. I'm keeping
Mm.
with everything. I'm always big on God doesn't want you to come to Him with the problem. He just wants you to invite Him in. And that's what I'm learning in this season. To just invite God in and let Him take control and follow His lead. So I'm doing fine. I'm just in the place of the unknown right now. And that's okay.
And that's definitely understandable. I'm very glad that you are in that space to understand that because not a lot of people understand that, especially myself, because I am the type to go through situations and be like, dang, what
Yeah.
am I gonna do? But at the end of the day, you are a light. And I'm very happy that, God chose you to be a light in the situation. And with that being said, at the time of you being in this program, what did it exactly mean to show yourself as a Southern University cheerleader? What did that exactly look like for those who aren't in the cheer community?
So I don't come from a cheer background at all. Never cheered a day in my life. About 2 weeks before tryouts, I contacted one of my good friends. He ended up working with me for 2 weeks, getting every skill that I needed, working on motions, working on dance, everything to present myself as a collegiate cheerleader. I ended up making the team. So for me being a Southern University cheerleader, it was bigger than just putting on a uniform and letting everybody notice. Being a collegiate cheerleader for one of the best HBCUs in the world, it was magnificent because that's a platform. It's a huge platform where I got to advocate for people just like me, where I got to show people in the world, no matter what you go through, it's just a road bump. Get over that road bump and you'll make it to your next stop, your next destination. To just keep going. That anytime a door closes, another one's gonna open. So it was a great experience, a great opportunity to show the world that God is gonna always continue to be God and place stuff in front of you. And it's just up to you to take it.
And that's definitely true. One thing I would like to ask is how did it go during tryouts? What was it like before you stepped in those doors until you got the notification saying congratulations, welcome to the team?
So it was fun. I'm not gonna lie. We did a lot of open gyms where we got to go learn, new skills, stuff that coach might have wanted to see at tryouts. Uh, a couple of times it might have got frustrating, working hard to get a certain skill. you're not landing it. You got to keep on pushing yourself, pushing your body to do it. So a couple of times I might have got frustrated, but it always ended up turning out really good and really fun. I got to meet a lot of new people, people who ended up making a cheer team with me, and we're still really close to this day.
That's very amazing. I'm glad that you made it, especially with no experience. And which leads into my next question. With you having no experience whatsoever coming into tryouts, did you have to find yourself proving who you were, not only just athletically, but from a personal level, not only to your teammates, but to your coach?
Absolutely. And it's weird because I never prove myself to anybody. Anything that I do, I always do it because that's something I want to do, and that's something I felt led by God to do. So I don't have to. The work shows for itself. I never got to go out of my way to let you know this is who I am. Either you see it or you don't. Because a lot of times, people see your greatness before you see it, and that's where some problems come in. Because some people see your greatness, so they want to stop you before you see it. And I
Mm.
like that was the momentum a while in this program. Uh, I did find myself trying to prove myself to my coach at a point because I'm 5'7", 130 pounds soaking wet. So off the image, it's like, oh, he's not going to be able to do this. He don't have enough strength to do this. But then I do it. I'll never forget the day before or the day that we got trial results. My coach was like, "You're actually stronger than I thought you were." But that goes to tell you, like, somebody might see you one way on the outside, but you don't know my strength. You don't know my mental, spiritual strength, and my physical strength.
And honestly, that is really such an amazing thing that people don't really realize, especially when you come into things that you've never done before. So the fact that God used you to illustrate that says so much. And another thing is, what exactly happened, when you realized enough was enough? Because I know sometimes a lot of people like to show off the good side, but they don't really show the bad side in terms of what happened. So if you're comfortable, tell us what exactly happened and also when God told you enough is enough. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So I made the team April of 2023. Over the
Okay.
We had a couple of camps that we had to, and then the season officially started in August. So the first big thing that happened was I ended up having a collapse lung. I was at practice one day, felt like I couldn't breathe.
Mm.
I approached my coach and I was letting him know, like, hey, I feel like I can't breathe. And he was basically telling me, practice isn't over to the city, but I'll find somebody to take you. It was never a, hey, are you okay? Do you need somebody to go to the hospital with you and drive you? Do you need somebody with you the whole time? My mom's 3 hours away. I don't have family.
Mm.
So not one time did he ever say, let me sit alongside with you till your mom gets here at least. Or to make sure you're okay. Or let me stop practice until we prioritize what's going on with you. So that's kind of like the first big thing. A lot of other things happened. Then it led up into the point that I quit. And that was January 2024 after a basketball game. There was a lot of like bullying tactics going on, like little picking. And for somebody like me, it's easy for me to just wash my hands with cheer because I didn't come from this background. I come from a
Right.
I love medicine. I love to advocate for my patients. So if I was in those shoes of somebody who cheered their whole lives, I would be very upset if my career or my cheerleading experience was the one that I got. So
Of
like
course.
just wash my hands and walk off. But I felt myself in a position to advocate for everybody else who was dealing with similar problems but didn't have the voice to speak.
Right. And another thing is when you found yourself advocating on the level that not many noticed that they needed to be advocated on, what exactly led to that moment? Was it something in your head that said, okay, that's not right? Or what exactly happened to make you see that you needed to be the leader that many people were either praying for or just like oh my gosh, I need somebody right now.
There were a lot of people on my team who, when the situation goes on, they never defended themselves. They never spoke up. But then as soon as we leave practice, everybody huddles up and talks about the situation. And you can hear
Mm-hmm.
how it affected or you how much it hurt them. So me noticing that I kept mental tallies like, well, so and so felt this way about this, or so and so felt this way about this, but they're not speaking up. They're not defending themselves. So they're gonna keep being quiet and letting stuff constantly pile onto them. So one thing is enough. So one thing
Right.
begins to be too heavy, and then we have a bigger situation. So they
Mm-hmm.
want to speak up. The thing is, everybody thought that I quit the team Thursday night and made my post Friday to try to
Mm-hmm.
give coach an image. He's a horrible person or evil person. I actually waited
Mm-hmm.
4 weeks in total before I made the post from the top of the team. Because
Mm-hmm.
I give athletics and everybody else the time to do something about the situation. But they kept trying to sweep it under the rug and thinking I was. And I did warn them, not threaten. I warned them that if they didn't do something about the situation, then I was gonna be that was gonna be my invitation to go ahead in public so we can get and everything that I said and warned them about, it happened exactly that. Because now we're at a
Right.
where everybody is contacting to figure out what's going on. Because the thing is, I wasn't the only person. I wasn't the first person. There were people a year before I even 2 years before I cheered.
Mm-hmm.
The same things, but there was no attention or investigation about the situation.
Mm-hmm. And just now hearing that back, I could never imagine that exactly panning out because, in your eyes, of course, it's going to be really difficult to see because the fact that it's been going on for so long and you caught on to it, that says a lot because, like I said previously, a lot of people don't realize when to say enough is enough, but you did. So, as you made that post, do you wish that a lot of other people, whether it would be alumni of the SHARE program or just alumni of Southern University in general, do you wish they would have extended enough grace and be able to contact you instead of, egging it on and seeming as if you're creating a false image?
Yes. So there were a couple of times where I felt like there were certain people who never reached out and was like,
Mm.
"Hey, how's it going?" etc. But I had to put myself in those shoes. That a lot of times I was by myself when I spoke about certain
Mm.
or advocated on certain. So why do I feel like it would be when I make statements?
Right.
Why do I feel it would be different that they would speak up then? You know what I mean? So I had to
Mhm.
get out of my feelings about that and realize what I'm seeking, what I'm in search of is way bigger than what a lot of people are in search of. A lot of people are
Right.
him losing his job and that's it. Me, I'm not in search of him losing his job. I want somebody to be in this program that advocates for their athletes. A coach
Right.
advocates. It's not about your skills first. It's about your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. And a lot of times in our community, the Black community, we don't have that. Like I said,
Right.
outside of everything, we got so much going on. We got people who are dealing with family issues, relationship issues, identity issues, real deal world issues. People who come to this school and don't have the financial coverage to cover with it.
Mm.
So with
Mhm.
all of this stuff plaguing us, why do we need to come to the program on top of another weight on our shoulders? So I just want to do it for the people coming behind me so that they don't have
Mhm.
issues that we did because it's not okay. And right is right and wrong is wrong.
Definitely. And going back to when you said advocating for mental health, what does mental health exactly mean to you, especially with being an in athletics? I'm so sorry. Meaning in the sense of how you balance being a student and an athlete for Southern University. You said previously that you're being seen as the face, but you're not being seen as the real person. Do you wish that the cheer world would have exercised that more, or what do you think?
Absolutely, because I do feel like being a cheerleader and being the face of an organization, everybody sees you as you have to do this, you have to do that. Or a lot of times, telling you cheerleaders are stuck up, mean people. We're not stuck up or mean. Everybody's just dealing with what they're dealing with. I do something with that clout and that platform for the wrong.
Mm.
Absolutely, I'm not one of them. Like I say, I'll advocate for mental health inside of
Mm.
cheer, outside of cheer. I do it 24/7. But I just know
Right.
stuff can really be weighing on you, hurting you so bad that you're silent. The real life hurt can make you silent. You can't.
Yeah.
You don't even know what to say. So imagine how many more people are out here and they're not talking about what's really going on with them. And one day something bad happens. You're like, man, I never knew. I never could see it. So I really want to create a platform that makes people feel comfortable to talk about the things that they're going through. Because I don't ever want it to be a thing where somebody feels like they're waiting on them that bad, that they don't have any way to turn. They do something to themselves because of that.
And that is definitely something that should have been said more because, like you said, we never know what anybody is going through. And in terms of mental health as well in the HBCU world, do you think that social media had a part to play in, your decision to leave? Was there anything else besides social media? Just let me know so I can be able to, hear from you exactly what kind of fed into it.
So social media did have a role to play. It had a role to play after I quit. Like
Oh.
I know now that there are different
Mm-hmm.
ways to get stuff done. So prior to me, I went through every other route, was trying to bring
Mm-hmm.
me to look over me thoughts and my not really have a student. But that's what I took crazy because my post wasn't over what was really going on. I knew about everything that was going on, and everybody was in an uproar. The post was so big, started being shared so big. Everybody's like, okay, what do we need to do now? What's going on? I ain't even know this was going on. Oh, my daughter, she was speaking about the same thing before, but everybody overlooked her. Oh, I also went to administration and athletic. They spoke up about the same thing, but they never. Oh, Quan, I want to say thank you so much for being brave enough to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that right there. I knew it made a difference. And that's why I say, at the end of the day, there was a lot of good that came from the post, but there was also a lot of bad. Because in the least, the vultures, people who are like, okay, he accomplished something in 6 months that I've been trying to accomplish for years. So let me use him to try to get my point. I don't ever mind or,
Mm-hmm.
or you know what I mean, being the first line.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people went about stuff the wrong way, or their intentions,
Mhm.
you know.
So my question is to those who did wrong you, do you believe that if you were able to go back, would have seen yourself explain it more, or would you have probably ignored it because, like I said, I don't know how everything would have looked because this is a very big situation and you were brave enough to actually say what's going on. Do you wish that people would have listened to you or just said, hey, what's going on, or given you an even bigger platform to understand what's going on instead of just jumping a gun and trying to attack you?
I would have done the same way
Mhm.
because what's for you on path? I mean,
Right.
God gave me the platform to tell you, but I started to find out. But across were in my post. But I want the culture to where at least we're at the right thing. And we don't have to do that one so everybody else to do it. Because there's no honesty. We work together. I feel like that was done.
Hearing that back, it really means a lot to hear that because a lot of people didn't know how you felt or seeing what was going on. And that's why I feel as if that people should have listened to you because if they were there to experience exactly what you faced, and as you said previously, a lot of people before you tried out experienced that, but it took you exactly to expose it. So, as you spoke previously with your relationship with God, do you feel as if He used you in this moment to expose it? So, people would realize that there's more to what they see at the football, basketball, or even just all events tied to Southern University.
Absolutely. God does that a lot of times. A lot of times stuff going on for you, for somebody. God, this is when the first situation on my lung collapsed, I would have quit the team. I wouldn't to be able to advocate my team. I would have quit. So how much longer would it go before the right
Right.
if I would have quit? So I bring life that were going on. Because people, you doing wrong to somebody, you're only going to oh so long.
Right.
I'm telling you, when people do stuff oh so long. Oh,
Right.
I meant to God, but I know so now at this point, I, instead of trying to talk about something,
Once you left the cheer team at Southern University, how was your mind at first? Did you feel at ease? Did you have that, oh my gosh, thank you, God, for allowing me to quit? Because we never know anybody's feelings in terms of that. So I definitely want to hear from you when you first made that choice to say, you know what, I quit. How did that feel to you?
it felt at first it was a breath, like a sigh of relief, because I felt like that was an end of an era of, where the band started outside way good, but then
Mm,
I started to feel this of like Quan. It's not even over. It started. The real work starts.
right.
Now that you quit, the real the real work starts. Like I loved it. I loved it. Interact with the crowd. I loved it. But now, like I said, bigger than just a cheer thing. Um, putting on was for all the right reasons. Really, after I quit, when everything started to, when I, that's when I really realized what I
In terms of how you advocated for mental health on and off the team, where do you see yourself going with that? Do you want to, open up your own mental health clinic? Do you see yourself creating an even bigger platform outside of, you just being an HBCU student and even as an African American man. What do you see next for you in terms of advocating for all mental health?
As far as advocating for all mental health, let me tell you, like a lot of the stuff I was already doing off the record, um,
Mhm.
platform. But I do want to make a bigger platform. It's
Mhm.
out to me to come on your podcast because that just gave me like for years now. I've been saying I want to start a YouTube, and on the YouTube every week where we come on and talk about real life, real current,
Definitely.
and really get to speak our mind. So I want to be able to do it, but let it be athletes or
Mhm.
black individuals who went through some things, feel like they weren't heard enough, feel like stuff was being swept under the rug. I'm just so against people sweeping under the rug because you might have been the last point of contact. You might have been the last person somebody felt like they talked to before the result. I just want to make it a bigger platform so the world knows. Okay, not to be okay, but it's not okay and not talk about it because it's going to hurt. Okay, still enough is really enough. You know?
And to me, honestly, you should really start that because as I'm hearing you speak so highly of how you carry yourself, and that says a lot. And you're going to be the first to know that I definitely support you. And like I said previously, I thank you for coming onto my platform because I wanted to make sure that your story is heard, and most importantly, that people get to know who you are outside of that because a lot of people they see, the uniforms, the pom poms, the cheers, the flips, the combinations, no matter what it is, yet they don't see the internal struggle that you faced. So, with that, that's why I wanted to have you come on here because there's so much than what meets the eye. And what I see for you, definitely, and I don't know if anybody has told you this, I see you about to make room for something. You're about to make so much room for something that you might not even know is coming. But I want to speak life into that because at the end of the day, God instructed you to be obedient to Him, and that is what you did. So, with you creating the segue to having such a big platform, and I'm going to speak it into existence, you're about to have a very big platform that a lot of people are about to start looking into because a lot of people they wish that there was people that looked like you and talked like you and even attended these big institutions such as me and you. They don't see that when it comes to being an African American, they only hear about certain things, but you're exposing that. And which leads me to my next question. With you being in the medicine field and you having big dreams for that, where do you see yourself in the next years after graduating Southern University, saying that I got my bachelor's degree? What's next for you?
So what's next for me? A still just following where God is because
Mhm.
the big way God last. God has plans for us. So life is all about trying, failing, trying, failing, one time, But after graduation, I do and emergency or the mental health go from there.
Mhm.
I really just want to look back and bring it with me. I don't want to be one of those people who make I'm doing it for the wrong reason. Or I'm doing it because I really want to be able to reach our community. Literally, the ones behind us are our next generation. That's our next teachers, doctors, lawyers, uh, everything. Everything. I want to be able to that mind. I might not be the one in the world, but I hope to be able to spark the mind of one.
And that seems like an amazing plan. And my next question for you is, do you believe that will be a time where other cheerleaders from Southern University, or let's just pick it out like this, from other cheer programs, do you think that they will start to talk about their experiences and once that happens, because you are a supporter and an advocate for mental health, do you see yourself creating a space where, after the program, after they quit, or even just after graduation, do you see yourself creating a space for them to talk about what happened and just most importantly, just shed a light on that?
Absolutely. I do feel like there are going to be more people that feel comfortable to seeing how much positivity out of me speaking up. But I just want them to take their experience and go out into the world and say if they want to become coach, they become the coach that they feel like they need for other people.
Do you see yourself becoming a coach of cheerleading? Or if you were to be in the sports room, where do you see yourself going?
If I were to be in the sports room, I would definitely work with some or some, but I do know a lot of great would make great coaches. I would want to help them.
Mm. And one last question. I know this has been an amazing interview, and I want to make sure that, people understand what it means to be in your position. Like I said previously, I wanted to make sure that I emphasize that throughout the whole entire interview. If there was one thing that you could say to, your coach or anybody who has mentored you in the past in terms of being a cheerleader, what would you say?
I do want to say thank you for allowing me to realize my potential, even though it might have come from some negative situations, but it also helped me grow as a spirit. Also
Mm.
allowed me to gain the opportunity prior to me being. I didn't know the struggle it was, the mental and physical and spiritual strength. I want to say when one door closes, it closes.
What else? One more question. I lied. I'm so sorry. My next question, and I want to make sure that as you spoke about your relationship with God, where do you believe that God is taking you with this as He allowed you to expose what's going on with your relationship with God as well? Where do you believe that He is taking you to not only just speak about it or just become the person that He has called you to be?
Very transparent moment. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I do know. Yeah, but I do know that it's somewhere big, somewhere that I need because I'm, I'm not the right moves. It's not. But I trust God. To know that wherever,
Mm-hmm.
how hard the struggle is, or how hard the situation from God, when the room starts, when stuff
Right. And as I said previously, just hearing you speak about it, it just made me want to just keep talking to you because the way that you express yourself, a lot of people need to realize that there are people just like you who are going through these situations that aren't afraid. And you are about to do an amazing thing in the world, especially with others who are, like you said previously, waiting to say something, yet they need that kind of like a yes from God. And I feel like you're being used for that. So I want to applaud you in every single way. If you have not heard this from an HBCU student to another, I am very not only proud, but I am thankful that you were being used by God to talk about your experiences because you never knew if anybody from whether if it was Southern University or just in all HBCU cheerleading everybody goes through something, yet not everybody either chooses to talk about it or they just sweep it under the rug. But the fact that God used you, I want to say thank you because you are doing an amazing thing. And I'm just here to encourage you. No matter what anybody says, there's a lot of people who might be trying to talk about you, but at the same time, they're in those rooms saying, he's right. And even though you might feel discouraged in certain times, at the end of the day, you're doing God's work. And that is what I feel like you needed to hear because not a lot of people hear that from others because they always get the backlash, yet at the same time, they don't hear people, you know, give them that thank you. And I just want to give you the biggest thank you and the biggest virtual hug because you truly deserve it. You stood up for what you believed in, and you also stood up for what God wanted you to talk about. And for that, I just want to say thank you so, so much for choosing my platform to talk about it. And like I said, I'm immensely proud of you and I cannot wait to see what is next for you. I am supporting you in every single endeavor and I cannot wait to see what you and God collaborate on to release into the world.
Absolutely. And I want to say, I appreciate it. I'm super proud of you for a platform and speak up about a lot of things. I can see so much coming from what you're doing because I feel like it's coming from a great place and in a godly place. There's not a lot of
Wow.
I can be with somebody. I can feel, a godly presence. But the whole time, the whole conversation is us to be there for somebody. So you don't know the doors that you're opening for yourself. But watch how God turns around. Go up.
Now me about to cry because when I tell you, just wanting to create such a big platform and just wanting to make sure that my guests are comfortable is really what I wanted to do. And the fact that, God showed that to you, that really says a lot. And I thank you because there have been times where I was like, dang, is it my time that you really spoke into me when a lot of people haven't? And I really appreciate that. And with that being said, thank you guys so, so much for listening to this episode. I thank you guys for tuning in and for those who are coming in from whatever outlet. I hope that you guys continue to listen to this podcast, whether if it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. And most importantly, if you guys are watching from the visuals, make sure to go watch on YouTube. And before we go, Quan, can you let us know how we are able to reach out to you in terms of encouragement or just to talk to you about anything?
My most open platform is my Instagram. You can reach out to me there. Quan the Great, QUARE. From there, just reach out. I'll give you my phone. I'm always an open door. Fighting me, I'm always going to be available. Because God is me on it. I like that.
And with that being said, once again, thank you guys for listening to another intimate and intentional conversation right here on People's Princess Podcast. I am your host, Amaya Kai, with my special guest, Quan, from the Southern University and A&M College. And we hope to see you guys back on the palace very soon. And we might do another interview after graduation.
For sure.
Because I definitely want to have another conversation with you and see how life is because you deserve to have your voice out there. And once again, see you guys very soon. We love you. And most importantly, if you guys are going through anything, please make sure to contact 988, which is the mental health hotline for those who are going through anything. And most importantly, you have Quan's Instagram, you have my socials, which is at the.amayakai, or for all things People's Princess Podcast, People's Princess Podcast. And please make sure to reach out to anybody. We love you. We appreciate you. Most importantly, God loves you because without him, we are nothing. And see you guys later.